And he is indeed playing Cosmo. I see a Terraforming and an Upstart Goblin. He may be playing the Fire King Cosmo variant. You heard maybe earlier on the stream, interview with Patrick Hoban said there's only one deck that he's afraid of today, and that is a deck that has an auto-win feature, and that auto-win is Cosmo in this case. And starts off strong with an Idea into an Eidos. Eidos is going to activate as well. And this is going to look very similar to what we've seen from both RJ and Dirk this morning from their Domain Monarch perspective. Now, Domain's really not great against Cosmo, so I'm interested to see how that plays a role. However, Majesty's Fiend, of course, is excellent. And that's what he's going to really hope to dig for here by pitching that Tenacity. So he did get a return, and I believe he did get a Monarch. He's going to, by all means, he may actually use a Pantheism here to grab 2 Pantheism and a Tenacity, or 2 Tenacity and a Pantheon, which is going to allow him, since he hasn't actually used Tenacity this turn, to grab the Pantheism to combo with Return to draw for a Majesty's Fiend if he knows what Blair's playing. If he doesn't, he'll probably go for a soft lock here with Domain. And again, joining us, this is the final round, round 7. Blair Hunter, James Armband, Domain Monarch versus Cosmo. And again, I'm not going to say it was a misplay. It's hard to know whether or not James knows what he's going up against, and so this is definitely as straightforward a play as you could make right here. Goes ahead and summons the Mithra, so that's probably another plan to, again, see if there's maybe Burning Abyss that he's playing against, just, again, continuing to do that. He's going to tribute for Erebus. So here we'll probably see the Mithra and the Idea. Sending Pantheism in Prime, adding back a Pantheism, which he will, and then also a return for Oh wow, so this is key. Blair is essentially saying that James is out of summons, and just clarifying that they don't stack the Eidos and the Mithra. So he's just telling him kind of off the bat not to search the Majesty's Fiend because it won't happen. So kudos to Blair for being a stand-up player and just kind of letting him know. And then Aether being added to the hand, with Idea and Domain. And you know what? I don't think he's actually resolved Idea either. But hopefully he put that as Chainlink 1. And we'll see if he shuffled back a good one. Blair seems to think so. And again, we are live. 36 minutes to go. Our final round of coverage. Round 7, ARG St. Louis, day 1. Tipo Pro providing the commentary today. We also have, again, a wonderful support staff here at ARG. Hoping to see more of you out at our events and obviously watching our events through the Twitch stream. And this, obviously some nerves may be playing into James's hand here as he's really kind of thrown off right now. And so there's an Upstart Goblin, and so that'll be our first life point change, as James is going to be able to gain 1,000 life points. Not that they matter much, but we'll see. Okay, so again, game 1. Cosmo versus Domain Monarch, advantage Cosmo. But James You would think the Domain Monarch has an advantage because of the Majesty's Fiend and the Stormforth, but this Fire King variant, if it is a Fire King variant, I would give a slight advantage in game 1, but it really just depends. We'll see what happens. Again, appreciate just the viewership on the stream today. It's been pretty constant. Appreciate it as always, just giving us an opportunity to continue to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And have a lot of great events. So Blair here has got to be thinking about a play. And yes, for those of you watching it is Blair Hunter with the card guys. There's a terraforming, so we're going to see Fire King Cosmo by adding that Fire King Island here. Don't know if he's playing the full out OTK version or if it's just maybe a tech card as a one-of. We'll see what happens. And terraforming resolves. At this point, Blair may consider using the effect of Cosmo Town, and he's going to instead use the effect of Twin Twister, destroying his own Cosmo Town and Effect Veiler, which he apparently main decks. To hit return, so it's again a great play that's going to trigger off his Cosmo Town and allow him to grab a Tin Can, I would imagine. And he's thinking about it as well. Plenty of time. 33 minutes to go here in our final round, day 1. ARG St. Louis, TPO Pro. And it looks like Blair Hunter with Cosmo against James Armband, Domain Monarch. And he's going to go for the Dark Destroyer. So he adds the Dark Destroyer to his hand. There's this Fire King Island. He's going to use that to destroy his own Dark Destroyer and then destroy Erebus, I would imagine. And there does come the Dark Destroyer. First, we have to add the Garunix. At which point, then he will choose to activate Dark Destroyer's effect in the grave. There's only a little over 100 players in today's event, but it's really been a showcase of quality over quantity in terms of really some premier players making their way out to Collinsville, Illinois for ARG St. Louis. Again, for those of you in the St. Louis area, love to have you come tomorrow, day 2. Still lots to do, lots to see, lots to do here at ARG. Love to have you around. Don't forget to like our Facebook page as well as subscribe to our Twitch and YouTube channels. Here comes the Delta Shuttle. And so it looks like Blair is setting up for some sort of rank 5 play here. He's going to activate its effect, I believe. Surprised he didn't use a Slip Rider, but we'll see what happens.
For some Will players, can I have Troy Baker and Christian Will make to the stage, please?
Again, a lot of popular players done already with their final round of Swiss. Again, top cut tomorrow, top 16 based on the amount of players we have here today. Still a lot on the line, still a lot still up for grabs, and 2 players really wanting to get into that top cut are both James and Blair. Blair is the only person that I've seen playing Cosmo today, and it's hard to understand their place in the metagame right now just because Monarch is so popular, it's so affordable that it really presents a problem for the Cosmo deck. Cosmo really doesn't have a clear advantage over any deck right now, but at the same time, it does allow for OTKs, and that's the way that you want to play it right now with the Fire King version, just making kind of wombo combos that end with Infinity and a couple other Exceed monsters. And Blair seems to have messed up this combination. I don't know from experience, but unless he's popping that off with a Cosmo Town. Okay, so he did get the Cosmo Town, which is going to destroy the Delta and continue the combo. So he didn't necessarily mess that up. Just interesting not to see a Slip Rider there. He's going to get the Sword Trooper here, if I had to take a guess.
He's got a straw man in grave.
Because he's got a straw man in the grave, and I'm thinking that that's going to allow him to kind of combo out at this point. So there is the Sword Trooper, correctly named, and he'll use his effect to revive straw man, and he's going to be paying 1,000 for that.
Game 1.
And here comes Aether. And this is going to really put him back.
What game is this?
So game 1, round 7. Blair Hunter against James Armband, 9,000. And don't know if he used his effective Sword Trooper yet. So he did not use that, so I'm going to go ahead and give him those life points back. So it's still pretty open, but I have a feeling that those life points are about to change here. So we'll see what happens. So he did pay 500 to add back that shuttle. So we'll correctly mark him at 7,500 life points. So he added that back with Cosmo Town and then used the other effect of Cosmo Town to shuffle it back in. He's drawn another terraforming. And he's drawn what looks to be a solemn warning to the naked eye. So Blair's kind of senses that this game has gotten away, and wouldn't be surprised to see him scoop it up. And again, I don't think Aether sent any cards, and I guess they just don't seem to matter. It's an accepted game state at this point, so looks like they're just going to go in and try to win, but for him to resolve that Aether, he would have had to have sent 2 spells and traps to the graveyard. So a little bit of sloppy play here, but they play on. With an accepted game state, these two are going to continue to play on despite what really could have been more advantage for James, and so I'm sure Blair is more than okay with a lack of extra spells and traps in the graveyard for James. About 26 minutes left in this final round. Impressions of the tournament so far have been that Monarchs are everywhere, Cosmo is nowhere, and everyone has yet to figure out that Mega Zabort may be the answer to the mirror match from a Monarch player's perspective. And we've also learned that Domain's still pretty good, even though it presents some challenges in terms of choosing first and second. And again, for those listening in, James did not send for Aether. However, that play doesn't ultimately hurt Blair as much as it really hurts James, and so Blair is more than happy to accept that game state. And so now James is, I don't even know if he's realized it. He's done so much that I don't even know if he really knows that he had missed that. So we'll see what happens, though. Still a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Left to be played in this match. Blair is not going anywhere, despite having his combos broken apart by the powerful Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. And there is an Erebus resolve with Domain for 1 tribute. Mithra's effect will activate. Looks like, now they may build the chain, but it's a warning, so Return is not able to prevent that from happening, and now take Mr. Hunter down to 5,500 life points. And so a very timely warning there, saving Blair potential. And this is where things get interesting for James, because he would have had 2 more spells in there, or a spell and a trap, but he doesn't. And I think James maybe have realized it right now, just the mistake that he's made, and how everything was rolling well, and then all of a sudden, wouldn't it be something if Blair would come back in this? So there's the chicken, properly sent to the graveyard. And again, no damage dealt to Blair this turn, which is a huge boon for Blair. It looked like it could have been over. Instead, he's going to get another draw and see if he can put something together. Interested to see if James is going to use the other effect of Mithra here. He does have a Kuraz in hand, and he can certainly tribute his Aether and pop both the Idea and the Prime, get their effects as well. He could also just tribute an Idea and pop the Return and the Prime. Several options, even the Domain. The Domain may not matter at this point, so personally I think it's probably the best idea to pop the Domain as well as the Prime or Idea, depending on which one if he wants to add back a spell this turn and continue to go on. So he's playing, one thing that stands out about James's build, he's playing a lot of hassles. You already see that he's playing multiple Mithras, multiple Eidos, Idea. It's just very interesting. I'm curious why he plays so many. It doesn't seem like you need all of them. And yet, again, we're just showcasing the power of Monarchs. That even, despite some miscalculations, that he seems to be well in advantage. Okay, so something's happening now. I believe Dark Destroyer is being potentially added back to the hand through the effect of Cosmo Town. I think he is. I don't know if he's... I think that we're kind of all waiting to put pen on paper here. I believe he did pay 800 for Dark Destroyer to be returned back to his hand, which from 55 will, of course, take us back down. He's at the 4,700 mark. And here comes Sword Trooper from Emergency Teleport, and he's going to go ahead and pay 1,000. He's going to pay 1,000, and so he's down to 3,700 life points. But that Sword Trooper, it's really going to be interesting to see how James comes back from this. And we'll see what happens. So it looks like he's going in. And it looks like a back-to-back Sword Trooper. So if I'm not mistaken, he should bring him down to 2,700 life points. And then, of course, he's going to be using Strawman's effect. And bring back that Dark Destroyer. Oh no, he had already added that, so I guess he'll just maybe not use that effect yet. So we'll see what happens. He's sitting on 2,700 life points to James's 9,000, but things can quickly change. So, I mean, Blair has to be thinking, how in the world that I come back in this game? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So just to give you, again, some perspective, he's going to be able to pop the Tribute Summon monster, and then from there be able to make a rank 3 exceed, assuming possibly a Leviair to bring back the Strawman, continue to combo as necessary. And it's really interesting, this match. I mean, it really is how James seemed in such control, and it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy that a player forgot to send and could have easily almost been sharked for it. Instead, Blair may have even recognized what happened, let it go, accepted the game state, and now he's the one on top. And that's kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! For you in a nutshell. And there's a Break Sword. So he may use that just to pop off his own Dark Destroyer, I would imagine, to continue to combo out. Break Sword, great card in the Cosmo deck, just with his the chat raises a really good question of, what is the most skillful deck right now? And I think that there's probably two schools of thought there. You have a deck like Monarch and a deck like Cosmo, and you obviously have skillful interactions in Burning Abyss as well, and certainly maybe not Clifford. So Slip Rider comes to the field, pops his own Cosmo Town, which I would say is a little questionable, but because now he can't make a straw man, and maybe he only plays one straw man, who knows. Seems like I wonder if he's normal summoned. That would be my question there, because it seems like he's maybe not comboing as much as I thought he would. Again, this is round 7, our final feature match of the day. Blair with the card guys against James Armband. In our penultimate feature match for day 1, I'm T-Po Pro, and providing commentary throughout the day and throughout the weekend. Again, appreciate the good feedback. I continue to see some watchers chime in with that. Appreciate that. Didn't plan on doing this today, but decided to try it. Looks like back to the match. Blair's taking some time. I don't know if he's realized if he's made a mistake or if he's just kind of weighing some more options. Oh, he's got the terraforming. So I don't see how he could lose, but I guess we could find out. Stranger things have happened. And honestly, I would agree with definitely Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, is that the XYZ mirror is so complicated. And we heard from Patrick Hoban earlier through an interview on the stream about how he actually had to create a shortcut guide so he didn't have to waste so much time in the match thinking, that he could just really look at that and dwell on that. So he, I believe, paid for straw man.
Is that 22?
So it should be at 22. And then 200 for adding it back with town. Putting him at 2,000. So we got a huge disparity here, 2,000 to 9,000. And so now we're going to see the damage come through. So that'll put him down to 6,000. Oh no, he decided not to do that. I'm not sure how he banished the Dark Destroyer for that. Really curious how that happened. I don't know if anyone in the chat had caught that. I don't know exactly how the Landwalker made it from the Dark Destroyer, unless I'm missing something. Oh wow, he went to the end phase, so I may have missed some damage. So he must have taken everything but the Dark Destroyer. Yep, it was the end phase, so I just need to catch up with the damage. So 9,000. We're going to go ahead and subtract the Break Sword, which is 2,000. And subtract the Slip Rider, which is 23. And the Straw Man, which is 500, I believe. So that's 4,200. And again, we know it was Straw Man. We were just trying to understand if we weren't aware that it was the end phase. So he's got a set Cosmojo, I believe. So curious to see what happens here. I just don't see how Blair loses, but I guess, you know, one poke into the life points could end it. So let's see if James can come back without you know, having some problems with some technical play early on. See if he can figure something out. And thank you again for some corrections to the math. We had someone come over earlier that caused some issues. And Slip rider as well. So I think we're just going to go back to 9,000. Maybe it was only 500 damage dealt maybe by the little tin can, or the straw man. We're going to go ahead and get a confirmation of life points here while we wait, just to make sure that we're updated the stream appropriately. So we'll go ahead and update the stream once we get a life point count. But again, this is round 7. For those of you joining us, ARG Lives, TPO Pro. Here, and we got Blair with the card guys, knee-deep in a feature match. It's game 1 against James Armband, Domain Monarch versus Fire King Cosmo. And Fire King Cosmo appears to have the upper hand, despite James really playing well in the beginning, and then everything just kind of falling back. And again, we did get confirmation. Strawman did not attack, so it's 2,000 to 9,000. And here comes a Stormforth for the Landwalker, for Aether. Now let's see if Aether actually sends this time. And it looks like he is going to choose to... Well, we're going to have to go ahead and tell them that they need to send first. So let's see if they make that correction. I believe they are. Okay, good. So they did, in fact, catch it this time around. And again, some really great feedback from definitely Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think there's a lot of truth in that, that as complicated as those combos are, if it's not something you're ending your first turn with Cyber Dragon Infinity and going first, it's really not a deck that can sustain Stormforth multiple times. And it's really kind of a glass cannon if there ever was one. And again, the commentary getting a little interesting here, as things continue to spice up both on and off camera. James Armband, Blair Hunter, Game 1, Round 7, final round of the day, ARG St. Louis. It's TPO Pro bringing you coverage from Collinsville, Illinois, in what is being dubbed our St. Louis ARG series. You know, on the topic of auto wins, I have a suggestion for anyone listening that's thinking about playing a deck that can auto win. I think there's an interesting trend going on where no one wants to go first anymore. Now that decks have gotten a little more complex, it seems like they're making Monarch decks, go second. A lot of people are choosing to go second now with extra card, and I think an FTK deck worth considering would be the Blaze Phoenix FTK from Ignites. It has a very high percentage of going off, and Veiler's not really common in the main deck. Maxi really doesn't do anything. Going first means there's no traps, so it's really kind of interesting to see how that would do in a competitive sense. It hasn't done anything yet. Curious to see if it would.
Other than playing a game of Force of Will or conceding to your opponent is punishable by disqualification. You may begin round 6.
Curious to see if James activates that upstart or if he's just going to try to continue to push for damage. And I think Blair is scooping. So it was a very bizarre match. I think that game was a very bizarre game in the context of it seemed like one player had really shifted control to the other, only to then give it right back. And so with all of that being said, it's now 1-0. James with the advantage, and it looks like Blair's going to have an uphill battle here as he only has a few minutes left. Time is tricking down. And James able to pull out the victory there with a quick 1-0 winner. All right, so again, if you're just joining us, Blair needs to win 2 here, back to back, as James, despite some mistakes, overcoming them, and that's really a common theme in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. We're seeing that both these decks more than capable of bricking, of going off, and seeing what's going on. So Blair's really going to have to put something together here. Down 1-0. Final round, day 1. Top cut on the line. And here we go. Curious to see who decides to go first. 8 minutes left in the round. There's a lot of action. Obviously, the match right now is favoring James. Also, Blair's going to have a hard time overcoming the life points in this one. So he's going to have to commit to this combo and really combo off if he is, in fact, going to end the game before life points matter. And they absolutely are going to matter in about 8 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Delta Shuttle hits the board, so this is all pretty standard combo. I think he has a pretty good shot here at opening up with the Infinity combo, which would, backed by a Magic Deflector, be nearly unbeatable for James to overcome. So we could actually have a quick game 2 here, and then all of a sudden go to a decisive game 3 with about, I'm guessing, maybe 5 minutes left on the clock. So probably going to see like a first turn Lady Infinity play, maybe Leviair Infinity and something else. Kind of interesting. So I guess he's going to go ahead and pay 1,000 for Strawman. Strawman's going to pay 500, and I'm again thankful for anyone keeping tabs on life points as well. I have it at 6580. Now once he of course uses Strawman's effect. And Blair is gonna add back with Cosmo Town, the Landwalker, which is gonna cost him some life points as well. $600 life points to be exact, putting him at 59. Now I wonder if James is just waiting to see where this goes, to see if he can win in time. I don't really know what he's doing. Here in St. Louis, it's just after 5:15 Central Standard Time. So really the tournament's been run fairly well. Obviously less rounds, which means, you know, easier time off, but there is the Cosmo Town. And he draws for Cosmo Town. I don't know if he really has the combo he thought he did when he first started. So we see the shuttle come, paying the 500, which we've already factored in. So we've got 5,900 as the life point count. Again, Blair has to win this. So it looked like it was going to be game 3, and now all of a sudden, again, I just don't know. I don't know if the combo didn't work out, if he saw something, if something happened. I don't know exactly why it didn't end up being where I thought it was going to go. But bottom line is, Blair Hunter's got to come back. Down 1-0. Time is running out in our last feature match of the day. Can't get any more action-packed than this. ARG Live, St. Louis, it's Tipo Pro. Yeah, he absolutely had that combo. I agree with the chat as well that, and maybe he's still working on it. So there's the Grand Pulse, and he's going to pop off his own Cosmo Town. And obviously fatigue a factor, but yeah, no, he's well within his line of play, it would appear. And so now I'm curious if James decides, based on his hand, to scoop or to try to see what he can do, because his hand, I'm seeing a Pantheism and a Twin Twister, which means he can take care of any spells and traps besides the Deflector, which will then be chained. But then he can use Pantheism. Can't really do anything with Stormforth though, so I just don't see how he wins this. And this is our last round of Swiss. After that, that's all she wrote due to the size. We'll have a top cut tomorrow. I believe it's just top 16 in today's event. Blair's going to pass. He's at 5,900 life points to James's 8,000. 3 minutes and 50 seconds showing on your clock. 10 seconds showing on our overall clock, which does not apply to the feature match table, of course. But and then we see the Dark Destroyer. And curious what's going on here. Yeah, for those of you watching that Blaze Phoenix OTK, it really is a great deck because you can play, I believe there are 26 released Ignite cards, and all you really need for that to be effective is 4 Ignites in your hand and able to OTK through the use of cards like Ghost Trick Dork Lord or Angel of Mischief, as she's known in the TCG, Searching a Field Spell, Ghost Trick Mansion, which will allow you to then use Blaze Phoenix, where you will then tribute off your last Ignites after you Pendulum Summon 2 level 6 ones to create Blaze Man, who will then add Polymerization or Fusion Substitute and allow you to then actually, using the proper way to summon Norden, sending Violon Cube with Beatrice and bringing it back with Norden to extend your combos through the use of Ancient Fairy Dragon, Galaxy Tomahawk, and Burner Visor to fulfill the requirements for Blaze Phoenix under Fusion Gate, using the effect of Ancient Fairy Dragon to pop off the mansion into Black Garden, filling your opponent's field with tokens, and then popping off for Fusion Gate. And I'm really confused what's taking Blair so much time. I think he just desperately wants to win this game, and he knows that he has to win it, and he's got about 2 minutes to do it. Really curious what's going to happen. And, you know, not to poke fun at Blair, but he really puts the slip into Slip Rider in this one, as it seems to be just slipping away with every passing second. Their records right now, so leave it update. They're on table 6, which tells me that they either have a draw, intentionally drawing last round, or that they are in fact already having 1 loss. Difficult to know where I stand here in the booth, but again, I'm sure we'll find out shortly. For those of you joining us, it's TPO Pro. This is ARG Live, St. Louis, coming at you courtside here, as it were, with Blair Hunter and James Armband. James with the upper hand, 1-0 victory in Game 1. Game 2 is really confusing right now, to say the least, for Blair. He seems to really not know what's going on. Curious if he'll pay 1,000. He will. So that means 4,900 is the life point total for a second one. And that second one's not going to be able to get anything from the graveyard. And again, I agree with Smitty that it is depressing that such a great tournament only has this amount of rounds, and that's what I encourage anyone. If you're curious, if you've never been to an ARG before, really come take a look. It's really the pinnacle of competition right now. Anyone that's going is typically very, very skilled and talented. There's just a different feel in the air if you've ever been to an ARG versus another event. It's really something that you have to come and really appreciate as a player the level of competition that ARG has been able to sustain. And so I think that's great. And again, appreciate everyone that's stayed with me today. I've started about 10 a.m. I don't think I've really stopped for more than half an hour, so appreciate you listening to me throughout the broadcast. It's definitely been a great opportunity just to commentate on some matches, see how the meta is evolving. Here comes a straw man as well. So he makes Utopic Future, so that's really interesting, which gives him the opportunity to possibly straw man again, or to straw man, period, but Man, I think Blair is really grasping at straws here. Yeah, someone asked, is there an updated version of this Blaze Phoenix? So I've created one. And my suggestion would be to play every Ignite, except you should only really play 4 or 5 of the level 5 Ignites, because they don't contribute to the FTK. And what I mean by that is you have to have 4 Ignites to combo off, but throughout those 4 Ignites, at least one has to be a level 6, and the rest have to be preferably 6, 3, or 4, so that you can reliably make the Ghost Trick monster to add the field spell if you don't open it, as well as Beatrice. So the traditional FTK, you had options like Lavalval Chain, but now since you don't have Lavalval Chain, your only option is Beatrice. And Blair is just, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but again, yeah, the Blaze Phoenix deck is something that hasn't really had a competitive presence, and I encourage anyone to try it. It's a very cheap deck, especially the way the metagame's evolving where no one really wants to go first. I think it'd be a really good opportunity for that deck to get some tops. Not that I advocate the playing of degenerate decks, but hey, I advocate the play of degenerate decks from time to time. So, and again, you don't have to open Terraforming or Black Garden. You just have to open the Ignites that would allow you to make Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief, which will, of course, will then detach to add a field spell to your hand. And so what's really cool is you can play cards like Rhoda, which is a 1-of, and Upstart, which is a 1-of. You can still do the combo with 9,000 life points. Also, you can play a 1-of Painful Choice, as well as 3 Into the Void. And that way you can play the bare minimum of brick cards, those brick cards being as follows: 2 Refusion, 1 Black Garden, 1 Fusion Gate, 1 Ghost Trick Mansion, 1 of the Polymerization card, 1 Blaze Man, which really isn't a brick in that sense, and continue from there. Okay, so Blair is picking up the deck. So now it would appear that they're just going to kind of go for time, and this is just really interesting. Again, appreciate everyone who's watching. This is really good stuff. This is the last round of ARG St. Louis Yu-Gi-Oh! Live coverage, final round before the cut to the top. Blair Hunter and James Armband. It took Blair quite a while, and curious what's going on now. Is it a draw? And they're going to go ahead and draw this one. So time in the round had happened. And yes, you are correct, Agent Side. Time was already called. Well, no, let's see. They're saying it's a draw, so I wonder if time had not been called, and that they're going to choose, because time hadn't been called during their side decking, which, you know, they are allowed 3 minutes to go ahead and eat that to draw. That's really bizarre. You know, I don't know the theory behind what James just did. I think that if he was planning on scooping, I'm curious why he didn't just scoop from the beginning. I think that, first off, James is playing a deck that's very hard to deal damage against. Also, Blair's playing a deck where you have to pay life points to do anything. So I just don't understand the mentality of James there. Why? I mean, just why would you allow it to draw when it was pretty clear that you had an advantage, especially when it came to time? That's something that's going to be a head scratcher, and you know, I don't really know. I mean, I think James had an opportunity to scoop several minutes before they ultimately did that. And so again, if you're just joining us, that's the final round. It ends in a draw. So back-to-back draws, and that's not something that the community is going to take well to. And I get that, and I really apologize that that's, you know, how it ended. I'd like to see a little more drama and some better play. But I guess, you know, at the end of the day, if they both choose to do that in order to top, that's their business, and that's, you know, that's what makes ARG different in a lot of ways, and it rewards good play at the beginning of a tournament. So we're thinking that they're both topping, and that's why no one's really too upset, but again, it's a smaller tournament, so stranger things have happened. Stay tuned and see if maybe Blair can give us some insight into that match and see what's going on. Be really curious to find out.
I should be like 34. So that makes sense.
Again, appreciate everyone on your just feedback throughout the event. I know that sound maybe a little long-winded. Been here since 10 a.m. providing that commentary, but again, it's Tipo Pro, it's Tyler Pope. Feel free to add me. Again, appreciate your time. Appreciate the opportunity to commentate on the matches today. Look forward to tomorrow's Top Cut. Got some interesting interviews throughout the day. Jake Finney, the reigning champion. BJ Wilson stopped by just a few moments ago to share that he will not be continuing on to day number 2. Also, Patrick Hoban stopped in for a quick interview. His thoughts on the meta, his thoughts on cards like Mega Zabord in specific matchups, as well as how he provides a cheat sheet here at ARGs that he uses to simplify the amount of kind of mental exhaustion that can occur. Thank you, Moselicious. I would agree. I think that'd be great. Pay me to